Hello everyone, welcome back to the Honey Wool Wonders knitting channel. My name is Honey and I'm coming to you from Melbourne, Australia, from a very lovely summer day. So we've got another special episode today. It's going to be like a sweater roundup pattern sort of episode. It's similar to one that I made for like cardigan designs, and I think most of you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with that one as well, so I thought to do something similar for sweaters. And you might be thinking like, is she crazy or something, like talking about sweater patterns in like summer? But the truth is that I'm still in my first year as a knitter, and I'm still so obsessed with that woolly and like cozy vibe garments. So in like summer knitting still really like it hasn't yet grabbed my attention that much. So that's the reason why. I had a huge list on Ravelry for all my like favorite sweaters, and it was a bit of a struggle to just narrow that huge list down to just 10 patterns, but I managed to do that. The last one is sort of like an unexpected one, and it might not be for everyone. That's why I just titled this video as like 9+1 sweater patterns. But the theme is mostly around like more casual, like classic fits, like relaxed and oversized mainly. And we've got some colored sweaters as well. That's the most interesting part of the list for myself, because I've just recently started to like dip my toes in color work design. So we've got a few of those, and also, yeah, as I said, there's like a very sort of like a unique one at the very end that I'm going to share. So, okay, I'm going to quickly make myself a cup of tea because I just came back from outside, and you can grab one for yourself or just grab your knit, and then we can dive into the gorgeous patterns. Okay, so the first one that I have on the list is the Odelia Sweater by Gregoria Fibers. She is one of my favorite designers recently. I just love almost like all her designs. This pattern comes in 8 sizes, and she's knitting this with a light DK or heavy fingering weight on 4mm needles, and she's aiming for a 22 stitch gauge. The sweater is like aiming for a 35 centimeters of positive ease, and the suggested yarn that she's using is called Number 1 by Eun. I think that's how it's pronounced. So she's using just one strand of this yarn, and the yarn composition is 75% superfine merino and 25% angora. So the feature of this yarn, I actually looked it up. It's very like airy and lightweight, and it's super soft, and I feel like that's actually shown. Like you can actually see that feeling in her sweater. Like it's very like lightweight, and it has a beautiful drape. Okay, the construction for this sweater is, it's a top-down sweater. It has a beautiful crew neck. It's slightly cropped, so I think it's just perfect for like pairing it with like high-waisted trousers or even a skirt. She's wearing it with like some pants. It's so pretty. She's got this very lovely braid detail along the neck, and she's got very like generous ribbed cuffs and also like hem. So yeah, I just love this design. I love like how it's so versatile. I can actually see myself wearing this a lot in the office. It's like one of those things that you can pair it and style it so easily. The yarn really shines in this pattern. I feel like if I would choose some yarn for this, I would probably, if I couldn't manage to get the actual suggested yarn, I'd try to get something very similar in terms of like composition to get that, you know, like that shine. It's very simple, but at the same time, it's so stunning and very minimal. I'm even like thinking maybe like the Isayer Jensen yarn would make this one so pretty, because that one also feels like it has a very beautiful like stitch definition, and it's a bit rustic, but at the same time, it's like super soft. So I feel like that might give this like a very beautiful look as well. Okay, the next one on our list is called the Bepeu Blouse by Eun. I actually looked up the name, and Bepeu in like South Korean is like means friendship. That was a cute name. So this sweater is just so beautiful. It comes in 8 sizes. She's using a DK weight yarn held with a lace weight on 4mm needles, and the gauge is 21 stitch. She doesn't talk or give exactly the positive is, but I think it's sort of like around 15 to 20 centimeters. I actually love how it's sort of like relaxed fit. The yarn she's using is 1 strand of Pernilla from Filcolana, which is 100% Peruvian Highland wool, and holding it with a Filcolana mohair strand. The construction is top down. She begins with like casting on at the back and then picking up stitches for the front, and then it creates that beautiful neckline. She's using short rows to actually the short rows are added right before the final ribbing, so it doesn't happen at the neck. It's at the very bottom before you start the ribbing, and it has a beautiful like slit like created also at the ribbon cuff. So I love that detail in the sleeves. This is also such a minimal looking and very like elegant classic sweater. Yeah, I really love this one. It's sort of like, I love the drop shoulder fit. I love the Henley like neck shaping. I've never knitted anything this sort of like construction before, so I would really want to give this a go. Again, another yarn that I think this might look really nice with is Jensen. I recently sort of like became a bit obsessed with the Isager Jensen yarn. I made my Vilma top using that yarn held with like a lace weight yarn, and it's absolutely beautiful. I've never knitted anything from this designer, but I've had a look at her patterns and they mostly look so beautiful. Okay, next one on our list, we've got the Eun Sweater by November Knits. Again, never knitted anything from her before. This pattern comes in 8 sizes, and she's knitting this with a DK held with lace and on a 5mm, oh my god, what happened to me? Let me have a sip of tea. Okay, on a 5mm, no, I just can't do that.
1 eternity later.
On a 5mm needles. She's aiming for a 16 stitch gauge, and the positive ease is 25 to 30 centimeters. Okay, so in this pattern, she's actually suggesting the Isager Jensen held with the Isager silk mohair. So again, it's just so beautiful. Like the ones that she's wearing them in, they are in the Isager Jensen, and it absolutely looks beautiful. I love the drape that this yarn has. I've never held it with mohair, but I feel like that would even make it more like prettier. The construction is top down. It's a raglan construction. It has like a very high side split feature, which I love. It has a very like long ribbing though, but the final look of it is just so stunning. It has a double folded rib neck, which again is so beautiful and like sturdy. I love that look. And she's using short rows to shape the neck. I know this sweater, this design comes in like a lighter version as well, where you hold like a fingering weight yarn with the lace weight. That one's more like airy and more like, you know, like not as warm as this one. But if I would make it, I would go for this way, like the DK with lace. I feel like it's just more like chunky, and I love that. Yeah, it just has a very polished look to it. It's so comfortable. It's like casual and like formal as well. I love the fit. I absolutely love this one. And the raglan like stitches, it has this pearl and knit, which just adds like the right touch of texture to it, and I just love it. Like I love when designers just like add a bit of like, you know, like small, very little details that just makes that garment look a bit special. Like a raglan construction is pretty much similar in all the designs, the way you shape it. But when they play around with just adding a bit of detail, I always love that. Okay, the next one is the Winter Pullover by Odelia. This pattern also comes in 8 sizes, and she's using a worsted weight yarn held with lace on a 6mm needle, and she's aiming for a 15 stitch gauge. The positive ease is 41 centimeters. That's so much, and I love that. The construction is a top-down construction. It's drop shoulder. It has this fold over turtleneck. Like fold over turtlenecks are like my favorite neck sort. Like I love that. I think like most of my winter sweaters, they do have that feature. So yeah, it's one of my favorite neck types. This sweater just looks like a blanket. It's like you wrap yourself in like a very like warm hug. I love this, like imagining myself in winter and just wearing this. I feel like this like oversized and this like slouchy fit that this sweater has, it just makes it so ideal to pair it with like some leggings and like high boots. I absolutely love this one. It's so beautiful. I love the color that she used as well, but I feel like this would also be very like beautiful in sort of like a burgundy red color. Ooh. And I feel like since it's like sort of like an airy gauge, it's 15 stitches. I don't think it'll take that much time to just finish this one because it's sort of like on a big, like chunky 6mm needles. Okay, our next pattern is the Francesca Sweater by Morica Knits. This pattern comes in 7 sizes, and she's using an Aran weight yarn on a 4.5mm needles and aiming for 17 stitch gauge. And the positive ease is 30 centimeters. So again, it's sort of like a relaxed and oversized fit. The suggested yarn for this one is La Mana Bergamo. She's holding that single, and this yarn is 75% superfine merino wool with 25% baby alpaca. So I feel like that's where that drape comes from. I haven't tried any of these yarns, like whatever I listed so far, except that Isaiah Jensen one. The rest are all new to me. So yeah, I don't know if I'll manage to find these yarns or I just have to find like substitutes. The construction of this sweater is again a top down. It's drop shoulder. It has a beautiful round neck. It's like a 1x1 ribbed, which she adds at the end. And the shoulder slopes are shaped with increases, and the sleeve cups are short, like shaped with short rows. It's so beautiful. I love the lighter version that she has. It has this very lovely texture that it's just so wearable, and it has that enough detail to just like feel special when you're just wearing something. And the whole like sweater knitting is not like stockinette that you would maybe just get bored. It does have that little bit of like texture to it, which I absolutely love. Okay, next one on the list is the Charlie Blouse by Knit. This pattern comes in 8 sizes, and she's knitting this with 2 strands of mohair on a 4mm needles. The gauge is 25 stitch, so it's sort of like a tight gauge, and the positive ease is 25 to 30 centimeters. She's using the Sunness Garn mohair for this pattern, so I've never knitted anything with only mohair, so I'm sort of like keen to see how it would feel. It's a top down drop shoulder, like round neck. It has this very beautiful like wide sleeves. I don't know how practical that would be, because I usually like when there's like some sort of like ribbing at the cuffs, it just helps it to, you know, like, I don't know, like you don't really want your sleeve to just be like moving around, or like imagine sitting at a table and you want to pick up something, your sleeve will go in the food, and I just absolutely hate that. But it's so like, it's very like, this stitch is called Farmer's Rib, which looks very similar to Fisherman's Rib, but it seems like it's supposed to be easier than Fisherman's Rib. I love that shoulder slope detail as well. I feel like that's so like neat and beautiful. I love the brown color. That's just so gorgeous. It has this vintage feel to it as well. Like, and yeah, this one as well. I feel like this could be like a go-to of mine when I decide, in the very rare occasions when I decide to go to the office. Okay, next part is the fun part, which are the colored sweaters. So I'm gonna start with the Playful Palette by Kutavakika. This is a very recent pattern release that came out in her recent book called Knits to Wear. I actually have it. It's just right there. Is it? Yeah. I recently just bought this. I think it just came in last week, but this is, I don't think it's still available to purchase like separately. So it's in the book that she recently released, but this pattern is so beautiful. I did see this in one of her test knitters, Sarah. They've got this podcast, Two Poles in a Pod, and she test knitted this one, and hers was so beautiful as well. Like I love this pattern. Okay, so the pattern comes in 9 sizes. She's using a fingering weight yarn held with 2 mohair, so 2 lace on a 4.5 millimeter needle, and the gauge is 17 stitches, and the positive ease is 20 to 30, so it's sort of like oversized as well. The construction is a top down round yoke, and I think it has 3 contrast colors with like a main color, so there's like 4 colors. It seems to be a beginner friendly for someone who's new to color work designs like myself. I'm currently knitting the Norma sweater as my first color work pattern, and I find that super easy to follow, and I feel like that would be the best place for someone to just start color work, because it just since it's just 1-2 colors at a time, it's just easier to manage. And I feel like this one as well, this is also like 2 color at a time. Is it? Yeah, I feel, yeah, it looks like 2 colors at the same time. Yeah, I mean, there's like a vibrant and happy feeling to this sweater that I just love. I love her like color palette choices in her, both the blue version and also like the pink version that she has. But I feel like the blue version is more like, the colors are more like my favorites. Yeah, so it's just so beautiful. It's so like relaxed fit as well. You know, like I feel like it's one of those sweaters that you can actually grab and give yourself a bit of like happiness in those like very gloomy and like boring winter days. So yeah, I would absolutely love this one to be my next color work design now that I actually have the pattern. Next one. I mean, all the color works that I have here, they're all so beautiful, and if I decide to cast on one of these, I honestly don't know which one I should start with. So the next one we've got is the Margaret Sweater by Lynette. This pattern comes in 9 sizes, and she's knitting this with holding 3 strands of mohair. So again, this is like a super airy and like lightweight sweater. She's using a 6.5 millimeter needle and aiming for a 16 stitch gauge. The positive ease is 15 to 20 centimeters, and the construction is a top down. It starts with the folded neckline, and then there's like short rows after the neck opening. And there's like the round yoke, yeah, is shaped with like increases. I feel like this sweater just seems like a piece of art to me. Like when I look at it, it looks like a painting. I love that. And I at the moment, I've got like 3 different color combos in front of me, and all of them are absolutely beautiful. If I want to choose, I think I'll first go with that light base version as the main color with the red flowers, and then the beige one. And oh my god, the brown and pink one, I think I want all of those. Yeah, it's just so unique and wonderful. I think I'm planning to do like more color knitting next year, so I do have a feeling that whatever I have on this list is sort of like a 100% making for me. And yeah, this was also recently released. Like I think the week that I was like preparing my notes for this episode, I think the English pattern version, it wasn't released yet, but now it's available because I actually checked and the English version is also out. Our last colorwork sweater that we've got on the list is the Sand Sweater. This is also a very recent knit by Eun. It's part of the Gay Part Yarns 2024, I think, color collection, if I'm not mistaken. This pattern comes in 9 sizes and she's knitting this with 1 strand of an Aran weight yarn with 1 strand of mohair on a 6.5mm needle. So again, it's super like chunky and on like huge needles. So I think it's going to be like a quick knit as well. The gauge is 15 stitches and the positive ease is 15 to 50. I don't know if that's a typo or if it's really 50 centimeters. That's like huge. And I love that. Like I love oversized sweaters. Like the huger the sweater, the happier I am. Like like I just love oversized sweaters. Like I love them. So this is the top down yoke sweater. It has this beautiful like Fair Isle patterns. I think she's like those, that Fair Isle pattern in the yoke is like inspired by sort of mountains, because san means like in Korean, it means mountains. It's such a beautiful pattern. It's very like minimal, but at the same time, it's very unique. I think this is also a very beginner friendly like color work design that you can actually start with. And it has like a very like high neck, which I feel like it just adds a lot of like coziness, and it's sort of like a dramatic touch to the sweater, which I absolutely love. It's so like cozy and I love it. The yoke is worked with increases with the Fair Isle pattern. Okay, now we're at the very last one on our list, which is, I do know that this might not be like everyone's sort of like taste. I mean, even for myself, this would be something very special for me to knit, and I wouldn't be like wearing this as much as I would choose the other ones that I had on the list. So it's sort of like a very special one, but I couldn't resist not to put it on the list because I just love it. This is the Augustins number 7 by Anne-Sophie Velling. This is also a new to me designer. She's got like most of her designs are very similar. They're very unique and feminine. They're very special. Like, you know, like if you decide to like make these, they're usually like the special ones that you would, you know, like wear on a very special occasion, I would say. This pattern comes in 6 sizes and she's using a light fingering with a lace weight on a 6mm needle and aiming for a 16 stitch. Gauge. So again, it's super airy. It's a top-down construction. It's a round neck. It has like the main feature of this sweater is the lace color that you just add at the end, and it's like using an I-cord edge along the neckline, and that neckline is just so pretty. I love it. I can just like have this one and wear it with that feeling of like, I made this and this is very special. I see myself like wearing this with a skirt, or I really love this one. I feel like if I make this one, I would either go with like muted colors like the one that she has, like a very light gray, or like a red one or a green one. It's so lovely. There's like a braided ribbon also attached to the sleeves that just makes it a bit like puffy as well. Yeah, I mean, this might not be for everyone, to be honest, but it's just one of those like special like statement pieces that you just want to have in your wardrobe. Yeah, I think if you love like unique and feminine looks, it's just like a standout addition to your wardrobe. It's definitely a piece that would, you know, like turn heads and be like, oh wow, that's so pretty, and then you'd be like, oh, I made it. Okay, so that's the roundup for today. I hope you found like a pattern or two, or maybe all 10 that you're just excited to add to your wish list and maybe just like knit them soon. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, and if you're still here, please feel free to give the video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. This is a new channel and all the support means the world to me. Also, let me know if there's like a go-to sweater pattern that you have and I have to know about it. Please let me know in the comments. I think you'll be seeing this video after Christmas. So if that's the case, I hope you're having a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas if you celebrate, and I hope to see you in my next video.